Often we all get worried because of difficulties, but everyone faces challenges in life. We should not be upset by them. Instead, we should have courage because we never know what God's next plan for us might be, and we should always live our life with honesty. It may be that God's plan changes our life in a good way, just like Raghav, a boy who shows what wonders honesty can achieve. Let's see this emotional and inspiring story. In a bustling city filled with tall glass buildings, noisy markets, and the endless rush of people chasing dreams, lived a wealthy businessman named Mr. Arvind Mehra. He owned a large trading company and was known for his intelligence, discipline, and fair dealings. His business was growing rapidly, and he needed a trustworthy person to take care of financial transactions, a cashier who would handle large sums of money every day. Arvind often said to his staff, "Skills can be trained, but honesty is priceless. If I cannot trust the person holding the keys to my treasury, then my entire empire is at risk." And so, he announced that he was hiring a cashier. Dozens of candidates applied, some well-dressed, some experienced, and some highly educated. But Arvind knew that appearances could deceive. He needed someone whose heart was pure, not just whose resume was polished. After several sleepless nights thinking, he devised a unique plan. On the day of the interviews, the candidates were asked to come to his office. But before they could even reach the main building, they had to pass through a narrow lane. At the corner of that lane, Arvind had placed an old beggar, a shabby-looking man with torn clothes, sitting on the ground with a tin box full of shining coins and currency notes scattered around him. The beggar was not real. He was actually an employee of Arvind, disguised carefully. His role was to watch each candidate's behavior without them knowing it was a test. Some coins were placed intentionally on the ground, just near the beggar's feet. The idea was simple. A dishonest person would be tempted to pocket the money, while an honest person would either return it or walk away without touching it. Arvind sat inside his office, but through a small camera hidden nearby, he observed everything. The first candidate, dressed in a crisp black suit, walked down the lane confidently. He saw the beggar, looked at the coins lying on the ground, and quickly bent down as if tying his shoelace. In reality, he slipped 2 coins into his pocket and walked away. Arvind shook his head. "A man who cheats a beggar for a few coins will surely cheat me for thousands." The second candidate came humming a tune. He noticed the beggar and the coins, but instead of stealing, he laughed cruelly and said, "You'll never be rich, old man," before kicking 1 coin away. His arrogance was worse than dishonesty. Thinking nobody was watching, one by one, candidates failed the silent test. Some ignored the beggar entirely, some mocked him, and some stole from him. Arvind's heart grew heavier with disappointment. Finally, a modestly dressed young man named Raghav entered the lane. His clothes were simple but clean, and his eyes reflected sincerity. He had been struggling for work for months to support his widowed mother and younger sister. As he approached, he noticed the beggar and the scattered coins. He stopped, bent down, and carefully picked them up one by one. Then he turned to the beggar and said softly, "Baba, some of your money has fallen. Please keep it safe. Every coin must be precious for you." The beggar, playing his role, looked up in surprise and said, "Son, you could have kept it." "Nobody would know." Raghav smiled gently. "I would know, Baba. And if I take what doesn't belong to me, how will I ever respect myself?" As Raghav is walking, he finds a little cat running around restlessly. Seeing it, Raghav realizes that it has been separated from its mother. He picks it up and starts searching for its mother. After walking a little further, he finds her and leaves the little cat with her. Then Raghav continues on his way. Raghav continued to the office building, unaware that he had already passed the real test. When he entered the interview hall, he saw many candidates waiting nervously. Soon, Arvind himself entered and addressed everyone. "My dear friends," he said, "today's interview is already over." The candidates looked at each other in confusion. One of them asked, "But sir, we haven't been interviewed yet." Arvind smiled. "Your interview began the moment you entered that lane outside." The beggar sitting there with coins was part of my test. I wanted to see how each of you would act when faced with temptation. Most of you failed, but one person showed honesty and compassion. Everyone gasped. Their faces turned pale, for they realized their mistake. Arvind walked over to Raghav, placed his hand on his shoulder, and said, "Young man, you are the one I was searching for. From today onwards, you are the cashier of my company." Raghav's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. He folded his hands and said, "Sir, I promise I will serve with honesty till my last breath." The moral news of this unusual test spread across the city. People praised Arvind for his wisdom and Raghav for his integrity. Many realized that honesty is not tested in big things, but in small everyday choices like a coin lying on the ground. The story became an example for others. True character is revealed not when people are watching, but when we think nobody is watching. And so, Raghav worked faithfully as Arvind's cashier for years, proving every day that honesty is indeed the greatest wealth a man can possess. Wealth, education, and experience may open doors, but it is integrity that earns true trust. Integrity is humans' good quality. Integrity can change your whole life, is like as Raghav, and also give us best results.